What's up, soul fam? How we living? Welcome to our health and lifestyle live stream tonight, all about the case for yoga in your life. Probably one of my most favorite topics. I could go on forever about how much I love yoga and how much it has done for my life. So, just waiting for a couple of you to pop on here. Hi guys, welcome. So talking about one of my most favorite topics, yoga. And this is kind of a health and lifestyle live tonight. And you're welcome to ask any questions in the chat as we go along. But essentially, I believe yoga to be truly one of the keys that will assist us and help us through this great awakening, through this major shift that we're going through on a mass scale. And it's truly one of the most accessible, easy to access. It's accessible. It is very inexpensive. Basically, anyone with an internet connection can hop on YouTube and find so many free yoga videos to try. So we're going to go through it tonight. Okay, so first off, guys, my name is Amy Rose, and I'm 40 years young. And I've been practicing yoga since I was 13. My mom had introduced me to yoga, and I got hooked and I loved it ever since. And back then, you either had to go to a class and had to be in someone's physical presence to do yoga, or you had to do it from a VHS video or a DVD. I'm not that old, I guess, but I do remember having a VHS video of Rodney Yee, Yoga Burn, which is like an hour-long practice, and I was young, and I was like, I'm going to do this. It was so hard, when I first got into it, to do an hour-long practice of Rodney Yee's, Yoga Burn. But yoga has been with me ever since, and I've been teaching now for over a decade, and just loving seeing the transformations in the people that come to my classes and other friends that I have that practice yoga, and just seeing their progress with it and how it supported their lives. I'm also a Czech holistic lifestyle coach. So I studied with the Czech Institute for some time, and I learned quite a bit about his functional patterns, traditional weightlifting exercises as well, which I also think is very important in a good exercise routine as well, to not only have yoga but also be lifting weights. And I really think that he's really nailed it when he says to do movements that are in a functional pattern, and to do the traditional weightlifting movements like lunges and squats and overhead presses and things like that. So while I am a huge proponent of yoga, I think that lifting weights is also a really great thing to add into your life alongside yoga. So now that I've kind of established who I am and why I love yoga so much. One of the first things is that yoga originally, it wasn't created as sort of an exercise routine. It was just to be able to get the body into a state, a relaxed and calm state, in order to practice meditation. So it was originally just to calm the body, so that the body wouldn't take you out of your meditation. So the goal was meditation, and yoga was just a way to get the body to relax and not fidget and not have a pain, when you're trying to meditate. Yoga, for those of you that know, it means to yoke. So it means to be in union with all that is, or source, or higher self, and to yoke, to gain energy from life. Because very much we experience prana in a yoga practice. Prana means a subtle energy. Prana, which you can say is chi, is life force energy, and it's the subtle energies in and around our body. So not only inside our body, but also in our energy field, in our auric field. And so the practice of yoga helps you to sort of activate and cultivate more life force and more prana. And the idea really is to activate the central channel, which is our spine. It's called the Sushumna Nadi, but it's essentially the energy of the spine. So that is part of a yoga practice, is developing the prana and the chi and the life force to activate your spine and to activate your life force energy. Hey guys, welcome in. So what I've been sort of talking about is that yoga, I believe, is one of the keys that will absolutely help us during this great awakening, during this big shift in human consciousness. And it happens to be one of the most accessible, easiest things that we can add to our lives. And it's free for the most part. You can pay to have a yoga membership at your local studio. You can go to classes, or you can just put on YouTube and do yoga for absolutely free, which is so amazing that we live in this time where it can be free for us. So this is all about yoga today, our lives. So go ahead and pop comments or questions that you might have. So I believe that if you could just say, commit to 10 minutes a day. It doesn't even have to be necessarily every day in the beginning, but you will begin to get addicted to it. There's something that I like to call the stoke, which is sort of a surfer term where they talk about like, oh, the stoke of like riding waves and that feeling that you get when you catch a wave. Well, the same is sort of true with yoga. Any of you who've practiced yoga, anytime I see a new friend get into yoga, it's like some of them it doesn't hit, but a lot of the times they're like, oh, like I love it so much, like I can't imagine a week without it now, going into the hot room or just going into any room in your home and just taking that time for you on your mat to focus in and do this practice. Like you find that stoke, and it can become addictive, but in the best way possible. Maybe addictive is not even really the right word for it. But yeah, that's definitely something that happens when you get into yoga for the first time, is you connect into the stoke. So there's a lot of research in anxiety and depression in regards to yoga. On all levels, it improves anxiety and depression in every single study. So I know that so many of us are facing so much right now, and our lives have not been the same since 2020. And a lot of people are still recovering financially and relationally and all the rest. So I truly believe that, like I said, yoga is one of those things that if you can add it to your life, it's going to greatly improve your well-being. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. And it has the ability to stimulate our sympathetic nervous system, which is the nervous system responsible for relaxing and digesting our food and resting, being calm, breathing. As you've heard many times, most people are in fight or flight, where their sympathetic nervous system is always activated, and that's not how we're meant to live on a day-to-day basis. We have that sympathetic nervous system response for things like immediate dangers, right? Like immediate mortal dangers that come into our life, like a lion or some kind of threat to our lives, to be able to have the energy to fight or run. So oftentimes our hip muscles get fired up when we're in stress, and that's why people have such terrible tight hips, is because that fight or flight response really activates the hips in order to run and fight and flee. But instead of a mortal danger, it's a deadline at work, it's a boss, it's all the bills, it's the responsibilities, the expectations, so on and so forth, right? In our modern world. So yoga is one of the things that can activate our parasympathetic nervous system. which is super, super important. When you can relax that part of you, there's a study that says that the central nervous system actually pumps out less stress hormones during yoga practice. So when they've studied participants doing yoga, they've been able to measure an actual measurement of less stress hormones in their blood. So it's absolutely been studied for anxiety, depression. It helps you cope with stress and an emotion. And again, guys, like I'm just saying, like for the average person, all you need to do is like 10 minutes a day. Maybe every other day is what you start with. I think a good practice for me, I do about 20 to 40 minutes a day. 25 is a good spot where if I'm rushed and I don't have time. And of course there's days that I miss as well, but it's pretty much a daily yoga practice. And even if I just have a few minutes, I'll do some standing yoga in the yard, between work, like, wow, okay, I've got 15 minutes. Let me do some movement of some kind. Because it really is about that daily movement that is going to keep your body tuned, toned, healthy, and whole, and it's going to keep you from aging. It truly is the elixir of youth. It is the fountain of youth. I'm 40. Okay, I do have some good lighting on me right now. I'm not going to lie. I've got a Himalayan salt lamp right here. It's low lighting, but I feel great every day. Like I used to have back issues, and back issues is very prevalent across the board for everyone, especially low back issues. And I don't have any back issues. I used to have low back pain. It was terrible. I think I even had a bit of scoliosis because I remember feeling my spine, and it was a yoga teacher that brought my attention to a little misalignment in my spine, my lower spine. And I think over time I've been able to straighten that out, at least to the point of it not bothering me day to day. So it is a beautiful thing being able to wake up in the morning at any age and not feeling achy, not feeling old. When you don't feel old, you feel like you can handle anything, you can do anything. It's almost like a trick for your brain. You're like, I'm not getting old. A lot of it is belief too, right? So one of my number one things that I say about yoga is it truly is the elixir of youth and of life. So if it's something that you think you can add to your life, I absolutely recommend it 110%. And you don't have to do difficult yoga, and again, YouTube is free. You just go to YouTube, and if you're a man and maybe you're just starting out, you just type in gentle yoga for men and something will come up, and there's a lot of male teachers out there and they're really great. Or, you can do a female teacher too. Yoga with Adrienne is great. She's probably the biggest name on YouTube for yoga, and she's got all kinds of videos. She's very gentle, very, very good to listen to, and she's not woo-woo at all. She's really good. So yeah. So I teach yoga every Monday nights in my hometown. If you're local, you can come. It's every Monday nights in Victoria, and I do like a sliding scale. It's just like donation. And I've been getting a really amazing crew out to yoga. It's been really beautiful, developed it over the years. And as I see my clients improving and people just keep coming back, because even just one hour a week for some of these people, and it's mostly women tend to be more inclined to go to a yoga class, but I always invite men, and I'm always saying, like, you just come, you don't have to feel weird. But yeah, yoga classes are typically women, and my yoga classes are mostly middle-aged women. And just to see them continue to keep their mobility, continue to come to class because they're seeing the difference in their life, it really is beautiful to watch. And so one of the great things about yoga is, we're using our body. We're using it in different ways. Typically in our day-to-day life, we move in a linear fashion, right? So we're sitting in a chair, sitting at a desk, we're laying down on the couch in bed, we're sitting in our car, or we're walking, or standing. So for the average person, you are moving in just like a linear fashion. And so being able to get on a mat, use your body in new ways, and do these yoga postures, it's just such an incredible way to get things moving in your body, which is where the health benefits come from, and also the spiritual energetic benefits as well, because you're moving stagnation. You're moving new blood around your body. You're making space in your body because you're moving with your breath. There's things in yoga that we do that really no other exercise can get. Like, for instance, like compression of the upper body. Usually it's easy to get compression of the lower body in certain lower body exercises or sports or things. But getting compression in the upper body is really beautiful. There's lots of postures that we do, like shoulder stand or bridge posture, or a posture I call waving willow, which is where you're in tabletop and you pass your arm underneath your other arm, and you're down low getting a beautiful compression in a twist. So it's a twist and a compression. And that is so, you're getting a squeeze for your upper body. And you're using your own body weight. So it's very safe, and you're able to shift things in your upper body, like shift congestion if you're getting over a cold. You can get new blood around your body into your lungs, into the back of your ribs, which is an area we work on a lot. It's getting movement in the back behind the ribs. And getting those chest compressions is just, it's like a pump. It's like a physical pump. It's like when we do yoga, it's like we're giving our body an internal massage. And utilizing the floor as part of that, as the feedback. Because when, so many people, as they get older, they can't even sit on the floor. We should be able to, as we get older, to be able to sit on the floor and be able to sit cross-legged and be comfortable and allow our spine to be strong. So many people that I, when they come to my classes to begin with, they'll sit down and you can tell right away how locked up and tense their body is, because as they're sitting cross-legged on the ground, they've got their knees like right up into their armpits, and they're just like this. They're like, oh God, I can't let my knees down because it's going to open my hips and be painful. And it's because they don't sit on the floor. Like I said, in our day-to-day life, typical people, you're going to be moving in a linear fashion: walking, standing, sitting, laying down. So you want to make it, if you want to age well, if you want to age well, if you want to keep your body fit, healthy, and working for you, sit on the ground. I'm telling you, get rid of a coffee table if you need to. Make your home environment such that you can sit on the ground and open your hips. Have like a nice comfy carpet, some pillows to maybe lift your hips up a little bit. Like, honestly, like we sit on comfy furniture way too much, in my opinion. Sitting on the ground is incredible because we need that feedback of the hard surface of the ground telling our body, okay, you need to open your hips, like when you're sitting in cross-legged position. You need that information of the floor. When we're always sitting on comfy beds and soft furniture and things like that, our body is not getting the information it needs to adapt and become strong. It's like our skeleton needs that feedback of the floor. So like I said, I'm always telling my clients, my yoga clients, get rid of some of the furniture in the living room. Make your floor really inviting to sit on. And just by doing that, you're already doing yoga. And you're already doing so much for yourself, for anti-aging and just keeping your body open. And, because if you don't use it, you lose it, right? You gotta keep that up. You know what? And, getting different kind of props are amazing. I love this. This is my stool. I got this on Amazon. Okay. It's super awesome. This is a kneeling stool. So It's a little bit angled, and it goes underneath your butt when you're in a kneeling posture, and it can just support you, give you a little bit more support, and it's beautiful too. It's a beautiful piece of furniture. And you can just put that in your new living room with your coffee table gone, and you can sit on the floor more. I mean, being able to work on your laptop, sitting on one of those with a laptop in front of you, amazing. You know, sitting in just on the ground too is in this lotus posture is great for digestion too. That's why in some of these other countries where they practice yoga or where they sit on the floor to eat, it's so that like the lower body just gets a rest, and the blood is sort of more concentrated on digestion, which, if any of you are familiar with yoga, Ayurveda is all about the diet and lifestyle of yoga, and it's always concerned with digestion and making sure that we're doing everything we can to improve digestion. So yeah, sitting on the floor is super important to keep doing as you get older, and to also get up off the floor in a graceful way if you can. You know, I think like how many grunts you make is sort of a good idea of like how much you're aging and how you might need to be doing more yoga. So yeah, like I said, if you continue to do yoga and you continue to practice, if you don't want to call it yoga, you just want to call it stretching, great. You know, if you continue with it, like I said, only like 10 minutes a day, it's all you need. I like to do about 25. Sometimes I miss a day, like I said, but you will watch your friends around you age and you will stop aging. It literally can completely transform the way you feel in your body, the way you move. You know, people are always surprised to hear that I'm 40. You know, and I think it has a little bit to do with also the way that I move as well. So, yeah. So, okay, continuing on. So in yoga, we've got twisting as well, and twisting, like I said, is an internal massage for your body. When you're twisting, your abdominals, your whole torso is getting a nice squeeze. Like you'd almost think of like if you took an organ and you you wrung it out of like all the stagnation or built up toxicity, so that your body can then clear it. You know, as you know, if you get a massage, they always say drink water, because the massage has liberated, anything that was sort of stuck in your tissues for then you to clear it out. So yoga is the same thing, right? And not all of us can afford a massage all the time, but yoga itself is a massage. And like I said, using the floor, a hard floor as feedback is so important for our body. The Japanese, I'll often say in class, like the Japanese have a saying, soft bed, soft body, hard bed, hard body. And as you know, Japanese are known for sleeping on like futons, which are just like these things they roll up every day and put away, and they're just like these little mats, because it helps us keep our structure. So I know that that's not really typical for us in North America, but thank God we have access to yoga, and we can sort of get those same benefits by practicing yoga on the daily. So yeah, so twisting, we've got upper body compression in yoga, incredible balance, practicing balance in yoga classes. Like I said, most of my yoga classes are middle-aged women, and I always say to them, like practicing balancing postures in class is frustrating, because you're like, oh, I'm not very good at this. I don't like this. But it's not about perfection. It's just about attempting. It's about trying. It's about continuing to find a balance on one foot, or on a supported side plank, or any number of different balancing postures. It will help you to not fall. And, or if you are, say, like in a northern climate where there's ice in the wintertime, for an older woman to slip and fall on ice, that's a huge deal. it takes a long time to recover from that, and it could be very, very bad, right? But practicing yoga, practicing balancing, it actually like cuts the chances probably more than half of even falling in the first place. It keeps you from falling because you've been practicing proprioception in class. Proprioception being your perception of your body in space. And when you reach your arms out and you have proprioception and awareness of your leg behind you and your arms outstretched and so on. So it's your proprioception is being activated and practiced in yoga class. So again, anti-aging. It's keeping your brain sharp. It's keeping you practicing those moments when in your daily life you might slip and fall, or you might trip over something, and you're going to find that you're going to catch yourself before any injuries happen. And you become like a ninja too. I've said this many times. You'll say you knock something off the shelf, you're reaching for something, you knock something, and you're so quick that your hand is there to grab whatever fell before you even consciously realize it. It's incredible. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen with myself. You become a ninja. I remember one time I was working at this job, and there were these huge like coffee urn things, like one for tea and one for coffee, and they're huge and they're like up on this big shelf. And I reach up to get one, and like I'm just inching it off of the edge, and it falls, and I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. But then it was connected, like the cord was kind of wrapped around the other cord, and so the other one fell down, and there I am, and I just like caught the other one in my hand, and there I was with both of these huge coffee urns. Anyways, yeah, and it just surprises you how much like a ninja you become with yoga. So another reason to begin practicing. And another one too is you avoid injuries. So there's been many times, I'm a Sagittarius, and they say that Sagittarius can be a bit clumsy. I think I've gotten better over the years, but definitely you can, I've eaten it pretty good in the past. And one time I was playing with my dog in the backyard, and the grass was a little bit dewy, and I had these like really like slippery type of boots on, and I threw something, and then I ran, and then I pivoted really quick, and my leg just slid on the grass and went out in front of me, and I pretty much did the splits. And I was just like laying there on the grass like, oh my God, like that's for sure an injury. For sure I'm injured. Like, oh no, this is gonna suck. Oh, this sucks. And then, that was just in the first initial few seconds, right? And then I was like, okay, so I got up, started walking. I was like, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, I am not injured right now. I feel fine. And the next day, fine. Incredible. Honestly, that alone should make you want to practice yoga. Avoiding injuries. Other things like rolling my ankle, hiking, bounce back right away. Yoga. And as you get older, you're going to want to keep doing yoga, because like I said, it's going to keep you from injuries. It's going to keep you from having to take time off work and so on. So yeah, avoiding injuries, avoiding falling, again, the balancing with yoga and all the work with your proprioception, lengthening. So like I said, I used to have what I think was a little bit of a side bend in my spine, my lower spine, and I don't feel that anymore. Like I said, I am able to get up in the morning and feel amazing, and that is all due to my yoga practice. And the space that you create through breathing and moving. So we all know breathing is a very important thing. Deep breaths, very important to breathe deeply. And when you're moving with your breath, you're creating more space in your body, more space in your torso. You're moving in different ways, and you're able to allow your lungs to expand more, to bring in more prana, to bring in more air. So another health benefit. I mean, it's very simple stuff. And, I think we often just, discount the incredible benefits of yoga, and we sort of lump it into, oh, it's just something that Pilates girls do, or it's like, oh, it's just something that, young people do, but this is a practice that can support you for your entire life and be what helps you stay feeling young. Because again, like I said before, when you feel young, it's almost like you trick your brain. You're like, I'm not getting old. And when you don't believe you're getting old, you don't get old. So again, one of the major benefits. Again, put any questions in the chat if you are curious about anything, you want to ask anything. As I said before, a lot of research with anxiety and depression, very lots of evidence there, of course. Coping with stress and emotion, you're better able to move through mental and emotional challenges. The breath, so again, the movement expands the space in your upper body for deep breathing. We talked about the parasympathetic nervous system and how yoga can activate your parasympathetic nervous system, help you relax. So sometimes it can be hard to get to the mind because of the modern world we live in and our day-to-day. So sometimes in order to get to the mind, we can start with the body by doing yoga, by doing these beautiful postures that activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So you can use the body to get to the mind, which is beautiful. And in our day-to-day world that keeps getting crazier and crazier, it really is one of the keys. It's one of the practices, the warrior practices, to be able to be as equipped as you can possibly be for the next few years and what humanity is going through, which is the Great Awakening, the Great Remembering. So I will always scream from the rooftops that yoga is here to support us, and I will always suggest it to anyone seeking help. It's a beautiful, supportive thing that you can do with any practice, any protocol that you might be doing. You're doing juicing, you're doing this, that. Yoga is always an amazing little supportive thing to do to amplify anything that you're doing. So one of the things it does is it strengthens the power of our mind and our determination to stay in difficult postures. So as we know in this day and age, our attention is it's the greatest currency. It's the world is always vying for our attention. So we kind of get into this state of being pulled in all these different directions, and our attention becomes short, like it's like a goldfish, and it's like we become conditioned to having a short attention span. Through yoga, through sticking it out through difficult postures that feel awkward in your body, that are challenging, that you want to move out of, through that concentration, you can then develop your attention and develop that strength in your mind and the power of your mind to place your focus and attention on something. And so in this day and age, with the short attention spans, the brain rot on the scrolling, we absolutely could use something to help us develop our attention span and our focus, which is called dharana in the yogic path. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up. So this is the 8 limbs of yoga. Okay. So this is the 8 limbs of yoga at the top. So you have yamas and niyamas. So the yamas are like the do's or the don't do's, and the niyamas are the do's. So the don'ts and the do's of life. So yeah, the yamas are like non-violence, so practicing ahimsa, truthfulness, practicing satya, non-stealing, practicing asteya, so not stealing. Continence means like like resisting things, like self-restraint. So, not overeating, not getting caught up in excessiveness, not getting caught up in addictions. Non-covetedness, so it means like not getting too attached to material things, and also not envying others and what others have, and not coveting material things. Niyamas, so cleanliness, very important in the yogic path, and we'll get into a little bit about some yogic hygiene that you can add to your life. Contentment. So practicing contentment, practicing gratitude, very important in the yogic path. Self-study, also very important. How many people do you know that don't do any self-reflection at all? I mean, I hope that most people do. But with our attention being pulled in all different directions and everyone being so, carried away with the next Netflix show and all of this, their spare time is spent not self-reflecting. So as an adherent to yoga, as a yogi, you do a lot of self-study, and you check yourself. You think about your behavior, you reflect on it, and then choose to do better, the next time. So very important in the yogic path is self-study. Surrender to God, so understanding that there are things that we cannot control, and to just surrender to the flow of life and to God's will, and sort of this period of time that we're in, which is the Kali Yuga, which I've talked about many times. And if you want to see that video, it is saved on my Instagram. It's also in my private community as well. So just understanding the times that we're in, the Kali Yuga, and surrendering to, God's plan, God's timing, and the story that we're writing and that's unfolding through us. And to not get caught up with trying to control everything. Spiritual austerities, so kind of like continence, which is like self-restraint. So just practicing, meditation, being quiet, giving up certain things, but that we go on talking about giving up the sense pleasures here in the bottom of the screen. Okay, I'm going to try to move my camera. Okay, can't move it. So number 3, asana. So asana are the yoga postures. Asana means to take a seat in. So taking a seat in yoga postures, which can be challenging when you're in, say, like Warrior 2, and you're gonna sit into it for a few breaths. It's important for our body to feel actually what that posture feels like. So part of the 8 limbs of yoga is, of course, the physical practice, but you can see it's only one of the things. So we've got pranayama, which is breath control. So breathing. Sorry, I'm just going to pull that up again so I can move my camera. So breathing, pranayama, breath control. And then you have number 5, you've got pratyahara, so that's withdrawal of the senses. So many times in the yogic texts, it talks about being carried away with the sense pleasures. So the things that are tasty, the things that are, beautiful, the things that arouse you, the things that smell amazing, and all of the sense pleasures, right? There's nothing wrong with enjoying the senses while we're here in these avatars, but to not get carried away with it. And if you are going to be a yogi and you're going to sort of dedicate your life to the yogic path, pratyahara is part of it. It's withdrawing from the senses and bringing the energy in the senses more inward for meditation. So, but you can see how we can get too carried away with the senses and never go within. So, the next one, so that'll be number 6, is dharana. It's right behind my camera, which I can't move right now, but dharana, which means concentration. So again, as I spoke before, when we're in postures and it's difficult and we want to come out of it and we're sweating and our legs are shaking, we practice dharana. We just say, you know what? I can go a little bit further. I can focus my attention on what I'm doing right now in this moment, and I can tap into more strength within me and use my concentration to practice and to stay in the posture for a few more breaths. So that's dharana, and dharana is also using your focus for good outside of your yoga practice. Then you have dhyana, which is meditation. Meditation, just being that practice of sitting, maybe it's 10 minutes a day, that can be extremely helpful if you're really going through it, if you're really going through some really hard times, anxiety, depression, and your mind's going a mile a minute, 10 minutes a day can be so incredibly helpful. And the last one is samadhi. So what it says here is freedom from imagination. So some meditations and some teachers will bring you through like a imagination type meditation where they're like, we're in a forest and, you know, and there's birds and imagine a creek and this and that, right? So that's fine and wonderful. But in this path, it's meant to be that you become so good at meditation that you reach samadhi, which is like you then experience nirvana. Nirvana being that state of being connected in with source through your third eye, through while being incarnated as a human inside the avatar of the flesh body. That samadhi is, if you get very good at meditation and you're adherent to it, you're actually doing it every day and you're really trying to be no mind, so no imagination, no mind. You've really set down all your thoughts and you've put all of your concentration on connecting in to that samadhi. And honestly, most yogis have never really even like tapped into it for very long at all. But it is sort of the ultimate goal of yoga, is to tap into that samadhi state, which is like God consciousness state, which is such incredible bliss. Myself, I feel like maybe I've tapped into it for like 30 seconds, you know, and I would like to absolutely practice more. But I do also have a full-time job, or well, full-time gigs. I have 4 jobs that equals pretty much full-time. Yeah, like I would certainly love to practice that more, to be able to tap into that bliss state. It's like, it's talked about as just the most incredible, beautiful thing you can experience in this body. So those are the 8 limbs of yoga, just to give you a broader perspective of, you know, if you are curious to go more deeply into yoga, that those are some of the limbs that you can practice outside of your yoga practice, outside of being on the mat. So the 8 limbs of yoga. So yoga has been studied to reduce inflammation, which is incredible. It's been studied to have a drop in C-reactive proteins in the blood. Incredible. Reducing inflammation, right? Like 10 minutes a day, you could do all these things. Incredible. Boosts levels of good feel good hormones. So all the feel good endorphins, like I said, anxiety and depression. If you have been tipping your toe into anxiety and depression these last few years, and let me tell you, I have felt it as well. Yoga is your like number one. It's like your sword. You know, it's like, it's a tool that you have at your disposal at any time that can help you and really support you through this time. Again, I said it's one of the keys. It's one of the keys to help us move through the Great Awakening. So if you haven't started a yoga practice, I absolutely recommend it. And so anti-aging, talked about that. The health of the spine. So like I said, the Japanese say that soft bed, soft body, hard bed, hard body. And that if you can keep your spine healthy, you will be healthy throughout all your ages. And part of that is using your body, putting your body into these different postures that we're not typically doing on a day-to-day basis in our linear lives, walking, standing, sitting, laying down. So keeping your spine healthy. Yeah, and then there's some offshoots to yoga that are also very helpful. Hi. There's also a lot of offshoots to yoga that are also very helpful. A couple I'll mention now before I go into talking a little bit more about yogic hygiene, which you can do, you can add into your life tomorrow if you want to. So, chanting and singing. This is something that I also will always be a proponent of, is singing. like I said, people are always flabbergasted when I tell them I'm 40 years old. And I know it has to do with my yogic practice, has to do with some other things that I integrate into my life too. But singing. So our voice, which is unique to us, nobody has the same voice that you have. Our voice is unique to us, and it is, I believe, the perfect sound signature to heal the cells in your body, to heal the water in your body. When you are using your voice and you're making vibrations with your vocal cords, you're also stimulating your vagus nerve, which is, a nerve that is connected to all organs of your body. And just by using your voice and singing and vocal toning, which is just like holding a note for as long as you can, it creates a vibration in your body. It stimulates that vagus nerve, and you're essentially tuning your whole body with your voice. And there's been many people who have said that they have healed from chronic conditions through singing. So there's so many different modalities that are effective, that if they are used in a consistent way, and with also belief in the practice, that you can heal anything, and I truly do believe in the power of our own voice and singing, and that's where mantra comes in with the yogic practice. These ancient sounds of Sanskrit, these ancient, very simple, easy, that just roll off of your tongue to chant, like Ram, Ram, Sita Ram, like Shivaya, like Ananda. A lot of these sounds they're just the original sounds. They're very simple, they're very easy, and you can do incredible vocal toning with different instruments. There's one Indian instrument that I highly recommend if you love singing and you want to learn some vocal toning, is to get a Shruti box. It's iced in the other room, but my Shruti box is amazing. It's just like a squeeze box. It's kind of like an accordion. It's a drone instrument, and it'll just do one note at a time. Or, well, you can open certain notes and create chords as well. And so it's just a drone. It's just one sound. And then you sing to it. You sing with that tone. And you can explore your voice. And like I said, vocal toning with intention for healing, for perhaps balancing your mind as well, is super effective. Super effective. It lifts your mood. It makes your voice sound better in conversation as well. Like when you're in the habit of singing, your voice sounds better. It sounds better to other people. It sounds better to you. It keeps, it's the yoga of singing. It keeps your vocal cords and your expression. It keeps it moving like you would, like when you're lifting and you're working your bicep, right? When you're lifting weights and working your bicep, when you're singing, you're working your vocal cords and keeping them toned, healthy, and whole as well. So not only is yoga wonderful for our body, but there's offshoots of yoga that are also very, very, very effective to add on to your yoga practice. And like I said, that's vocal toning. And I'm sure there's there's ebooks out there with vocal toning that you can follow if you're not really sure what to do on your own and you don't have a Shruti box. There's different audiobooks out there. I can't remember the name of the author off the top of my head, but there's also YouTube videos that you can do vocal toning. And Eileen McCusick does vocal toning. I took her course. Pretty interesting. So yeah, you don't really need all of these expensive sound healing tools. You have the most sophisticated, incredibly dynamic, and made for you sound instrument on board at all times, and it's your voice. And it just takes a matter of knowing that and using it to your advantage. So one of my favorite things to do is aoming. And I say oming as opposed to just oming because it's more powerful to utilize all the syllables of om. So that and doing that over and over and over again, you will not only develop breath control. It'll be difficult at first when you start to vocal tone. You'll be like, oh, wow, I'm out of breath. But then you keep doing it, and it's, again, like exercise. It's like exercise. And those vibrations create good vibrations in your body. It stimulates your vagus nerve, which is connected to all of your organs. So vocal toning and chanting, also very, very, very helpful if we're leading a truth-based life and a yogic life. Yes, Casey, I will definitely, this one will be saved to my profile on Instagram, and it will also be uploaded into my private community as well on Locals, which is a free speech platform, by the way. So, another sort of offshoot of yoga, well, it's not really an offshoot, I wouldn't say, it's part of it, but in the West, we wouldn't really consider it related, and this is dancing. So, you want to stay young, you want to stay vibrant, you want to stay loose in your body, dancing. And sometimes it's like an exorcism. Okay, like you've all heard of ecstatic dance, right? Where you dance in order to feel a high, a natural high. So you're high on your own supply. But sometimes, dancing is necessary to literally shake out bad feelings, negative thought forms, negative mind states. Because I do believe that when we get into these negative mind states that we can kind of attract like entities of some kind that sort of hang on to us and kind of perpetuate it. And also who knows what kind of frequencies the controllers are blasting at us to stir us up, which is all entirely in the realm of possibility. Shaking and dancing is one of the most effective ways to come back to center. So I've made it a practice in my life to dance for like 5 to 10 minutes at least once a week. Now, I used to go to ecstatic dance in Toronto and I loved it. And I tried to start an ecstatic dance myself here, but ended up being like so much work. And I wanted to do it for me, and then I was so exhausted by the end of it. I was just like, I can't keep doing this. But I might try to do it again on a smaller scale. But I digress. What I'm saying is I just do 5 to 10 minutes, and I have a dance playlist that I've curated over the years. If you want a link to that, DM me. And it's all dance music that I just love. It's like, electronic dance music. It's like progressive house. And I will, just put it on and time out like 5-10 minutes, whatever I have time for. Usually it's about like 4 or 5 songs. Or sometimes 2 songs. And just shaking and moving, like I said, in our day-to-day life, we're always in this linear movement pattern. But when you dance, you're moving your body in all these different ways, in sort of a more fluid way, and in different ways than you would during sports or any maybe martial arts even, even in your yoga practice, right? Dance, you can get into all these different movements that your body isn't used to. Very important, again, for staying youthful, for staying loose and limber. And you're also doing kind of an exorcism. Truly, like sometimes these thought forms, I get it, you guys. I've struggled with depression my whole life. And sometimes you have to use the body to get to the mind. And you got to know when to use what practices to help you and assist you. And dance is certainly one of those things. So if you're feeling down and you're like, I fucking can't shake this, excuse my language, either do a hard workout to the point of exhaustion or dance. I think dance is actually probably more effective, and give it all you got. Absolutely give it all you've got. Like I said, DM me if you want the playlist on Spotify. So, and dancing, of course, has been practiced throughout so many different traditions, as well as shaking medicine, which is practiced in many tribes probably still to this day, because they knew that, we pack on all of this stuff, and eventually we need to shake it off. We need to get it out. And often in the Western world, we turn to alcohol, letting loose with our friends, smoking weed, whatever, right? But this is one of the ways that we can let off steam and get rid of that stuff that we hold on to. So shaking, you don't even have to put dance music on. If you're like, no, that's not me, I don't like dance music. You can just put on some African tribal drums, like a playlist on YouTube or Spotify, and just shake and take out the garbage. Literally, take it out, shake your body so hard that you're taking out the literal garbage in your mind and those heavy thought forms. So also a very amazing thing to add to your daily routine of health and wellness. Dancing. Okay, another thing is hanging. If you have anything in your home or in your backyard where you can hang your entire weight from, wow, you have a tool at your disposal that will support you as long as you choose to use it. Hanging is one of the most incredible things, just being able to dead hang or just hang from one hand and get a beautiful stretch all the way along the arm and the side waist and even into the legs, allowing the back to decompress. And two, grip strength. When you start hanging, one of the things people notice is they're like, I can't hold my weight, I can't hold on anymore, and I can't really hang for very long, and they kind of give up. But as with anything, your grip strength gets stronger as you practice. And I've read that grip strength is directly correlated to mortality, so your length of your life. So if you have strong grip strength and you maintain that throughout your life, you will have longevity and health, robust health, if you have good grip strength. Directly correlated to mortality. So hanging. And I have an apparatus in my backyard where I hang from hanging, whatever you call those, handles that kind of move, and I swing. And then I also have a dowel, a wooden dowel that I hang from Olympic ring straps, and it's at about this height. So I can pull down like this and pull my traps down. I can do different exercises where I pull back and I reach out through my sacrum. I hang, put my arms over top and hang and get a chest stretch. There's all kinds of things you can do with hanging. So if you don't have an apparatus in your backyard, I understand. I know a lot of people rent and it's hard to find an anchor point that's really strong enough in your home. But if you can figure that out, you're going to you'll see the benefits right away. And and it's fun too. It's fun to hang. And you can just do a few minutes whenever you're in your yard or whenever you think of it, just hanging. So very important. Anyone in the chat like to hang? Go ahead and put a 222 in the chat if you already know the benefits of hanging and you like to do it whenever you can. All right. So yeah. Yoga is honestly, like I said, it's one of the keys. There's another little offshoot of yoga. It is called Ayurveda. And it is the sort of doctor diet and lifestyle of yoga. And it's very sophisticated. It takes a lot of study to learn. And I did do quite a bit of studying into it. But like I said, it's very sophisticated, and to keep up with it, you got to dedicate your life to it. But what I did take away from Ayurveda is this. When you eat, think about digestion. So think about, how are these different foods that I'm eating mixing in my stomach? So oftentimes, maybe if you're a snacker, you might open the fridge and you're going to eat this and that and this and that, and and then you're kind of still hungry, and then you have this and that, and like different things. You have to remember, like, you're giving your body a lot of different information all at once. And so this is where a lot of people talk about mono meals, and just having like one meal, like a squash is like a meal, and it's just one food, or like a steak, or like some kind of dish, very, very plain, bland dish, like rice and mung bean, like khichdi. Anyways, so it's always important to think about how things are mixing in your stomach. So a couple things to keep in mind is, like, fruit should be eaten alone. Fruit should be eaten alone and not with anything else, because your body can digest it pretty quick, and if you put something else in your stomach, it's kind of going to sit there and sort of putrefy, sort of thing. So, like, let fruits be digested alone. And cooking fruits is very nice for digestion, especially apples. I like to cook apples a lot, and it creates pectin, or it makes the pectin in the fruit more bioavailable, and it actually helps with detoxing. And my friend Hannah reminded me about that, and I made some applesauce the other day. Love it. What's up, Artie? So yeah, a couple things from Ayurveda is eating fruit alone. You know, in the Western world, we tend to have like a salad before a meal, and that would be like a no-no in Ayurveda. You want to have raw food alone. You don't want to mix raw food and cooked food together. You want to allow, if you're going to have a salad before your cooked meal, like, you're going to want to leave at least half an hour between, if not more, to digest the raw leaves and stuff, and then have your cooked food. So Ayurveda is another really amazing deep dive to check out if you're someone who wants to follow a more yogic way of living. And yeah, so really all I really want you guys to take away from this talk about yoga today is just to realize that it is one of the easiest things that we can add to our life that will make the biggest impact. It's accessible across the board. It is free for the most part. If you have an internet connection and you can get onto YouTube, you can find all kinds of amazing teachers and just practice for free. You don't have to have an expensive yoga membership, but you can do that if you want to too. If you're local, I teach on Monday nights in Victoria. Just DM me for more details. And yeah, like, it really is just the one simple thing. And like I said, 10 minutes a day is literally enough. I think like a sweet spot is 20 to 25 minutes a day, every day. And practicing in the morning is great. But if you can't make it in the morning, like around sunset is really good. And even before bed is fine too. You may just want to do a less yang practice, a more yin practice at night. It will help improve your sleep as well, which is great. Something I failed to mention, but yeah, your sleep will improve. So yeah, during these times of the Great Awakening and all of the deception in the world coming to light, and people just really having a hard time coping, I truly believe that yoga is absolutely one of the keys. So if it's something you can add to your life, let me, as a yoga teacher, as a 40-year-old yoga teacher who has been teaching for over a decade, let me influence you to add this to your life. Now, if you're keen, in the new year, I'm going to be doing a 28-day challenge. It's going to include yoga, but it's going to include some really nice other things, and you're just going to kind of self-pace through it and give yourself kind of a grade every day of how well you did. It's not going to be too much added to your daily life, but it'll just be a little something gentle, really beautiful, something we can do together to ring in the new year and reapply ourselves to our goals, our health and wellness goals. So look forward to that 28-day challenge. And it'll be inside my locals group. But you can just follow, you can do it for free, but you have to get a locals profile and become a member. 'Cause some of my content on there is for free, but not all of it. So before we go, just a couple of yogic hygiene things, which are really amazing. So first off is neti pot. So some of you have heard of this before. It is like cleaning your sinuses and your nasal passage. So this is a ceramic one, and you just put warm water, the cleanest water you have access to. It's supposed to be distilled water, but if all you have is, I mean, I've even used spring water in there, and it was fine, but distilled water is the best. And then you can get these little packets from Neil Med, which makes this one, which is a plastic one. And all it is, if you've never seen this before, you use warm water and salt, the little packet, and you hover over the sink, and you allow the water to go up into the sinuses and back down the other nostril. So it'll just come out. And this is cleaning out pollution and, what are we breathing in these days, guys? You know, chemtrails, nanobots, who knows what, smart dust. It helps clean it out of pollution and dust and things that shouldn't really be in there. So it's just a really great practice to just continue to do throughout your life. And then I recently found this one by Neil Med. So this is like a different type of container. Instead of like a little teapot, it is a really great design. So you use the packet in there, warm water up to here, and then you squeeze it, and it's just the perfect amount of pressure. It's not too much at all. And this way you can be upright and use it instead of having to be on the side like this and trying to make it go in the sink and stuff. This is just a little bit easier, and the pressure is just absolutely perfect, and it feels amazing. Literally, this is something you want to do. And I always bring a neti pot with me to festivals. When I go to a festival, typically you're walking around and there's dust, and there's like usually ATVs or golf carts going by, the crew and whatever, and it's kicking up all this dust that you're not seeing, and it's coming up in here, and it's causing like sore throat as well. Typically people always get sore throat at festivals, so I always bring a neti pot with me camping and festivaling. It's just a good thing to have, and all you got to do is have a little warm water, a little cool water, make it room temp, and blast your sinuses. Super amazing. Immediately after you do it, you're going to be able to smell better as well. The second yoga hygiene is tongue scraping. I forgot to grab my tongue scraper. You can get them on Amazon for like 3 for $10, and they're copper. And in the morning, when you wake up, the first thing you do before you drink water, before you do anything, before you walk the dog, before anything, go to the bathroom, you scrape your tongue. So at the back of your mouth is where it will be sitting. And if you don't have a tongue scraper, you can just use a big soup spoon with the soup spoon down and scrape into the sink. So what's said in the yogic tradition is that overnight, what comes up on our tongue is called ama, which is undigested foodstuffs, which means it's things that we didn't digest well. It's things that our body's trying to get rid of. It's just trying to detox through the tongue. And this, you do not want to swallow this down. You want to get rid of it first thing in the morning. So like I said, grab yourself a tongue scraper. The copper ones are great on Amazon, or use a soup spoon. You don't even have to pay money. And just, once you scrape, you never go back. Once you tongue scrape, you can't not tongue scrape. You'll get in the habit of it, and it's just a great thing to do to just help your body detox, get rid of that stuff in the morning. And the last one, I brought this out, so I think Shilajit is probably one of the best things that you can use. It's not exactly hygiene, but it's just one of those things that can really support you, and it does come from the yogic tradition. So Shilajit is like mineral pitch, it's called, and it's decomposed plant and animal matter that comes out of the mountains in the Himalayas and also in Russia and a few other places, and it's this black resin. So this one is from Mitolife, And I do represent them. This is not like necessarily a sales pitch, but I mean, you can use my code. It will get you, I think, 15% off. It's amazing. But I take this myself. And what they did, which is so cool, is they made press tabs. So instead of tar in a jar, it's actually just like a little press tab of resin. And it's all it's all measured out for you. And you can I take like 1 to 2 a day, but some people take like 4 a day. And it's all these ionic trace minerals that are carbon bonded. I think it's ionic. Yeah, carbon bonded trace minerals that we need, that our cells need for all different kinds of processes. So how this was originally discovered was, in the Himalayas, villagers were noticing that at certain times of the year, this particular monkey was going to the sides of the cliff. These monkeys were on the side of the cliff eating something. And they were like, what are they eating? And sure enough, these monkeys were very robust and very healthy and lived a long time. And they learned, oh wow, well they're getting nutrients, the mineral pitch from the mountain. And then, of course, the villagers tried it and realized its health benefits. And this company calls it a panacea because it really does help so many processes in our body. It helps give you just more vitality on a cellular level, which is amazing. It also helps with gut and like colitis and diverticulitis. So it's been studied that in taking this regularly, that it basically improves your digestion and your gut. It can also, the fulvic acid in it can help detoxify glyphosate, which is absolutely everywhere and is certainly a big problem. So this is kind of like one of your defenses against it, is the mineral pitch. The glyphosate, I'm just trying to remember what else. There's just the fulvic acid in it is what helps with the glyphosate removal. I don't know, I've taken it for years. I love it. I've given it to my dog as well. It just helps me feel like I'm getting all of the minerals, all of those trace minerals, those different minerals that you're not really getting in typical food. Yeah. What was I going to say? There's something else I was going to say about it. But yeah, so that's the tea, guys. That's the tea today on yoga and how much I recommend it to everyone. I'll be a lifelong proponent of yoga, the way it's helped me in my life and what I've seen it do for others as well. So be sure to watch this live over again if you're just kind of jumping in here. And yeah, I recommend it, 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, it'll change your life. So if you do add it to your routine and you start to see the benefits, be sure to reach out to me and tell me about some of the benefits that you see. And again, guys, I'm going to be doing a New Year 28-day challenge. It's going to involve yoga, but some other good things too. It's going to be easy. It's not going to be too hard. It's just going to be something to kind of kickstart and give you something to look forward to during the long winter months. Something we can do together. So that will be inside my locals page on locals, but you don't have to be a supporter to join the challenge. You just have to make a locals profile and then become a follower of me over there on locals. So it's Amy Rose 999 on locals. The link is in my bio. And so keep an eye out for the announcement of the 28-day challenge. All right, guys, thanks for listening this far. I guess that's all for me. All right. Namaste, guys. Have a beautiful night. Bye for now.